Hello and welcome back to a very sweaty GorillaBiker. And today, well, I did something 2 days ago. I bought something. You could call it a dream bike. and there it is. It's a 2019 Kawasaki Z900. And to say that I'm happy with it is an understatement. We're actually on the way home. I bought this bike in Asheville from a gentleman called Ben. Ben, thank you very much. It has been perfect the whole way home. No complaints. I just stopped here to take some photos and to start this video. We're a bit over 300 miles in today and I love it. It is slightly more cramped than the V-Strom, that's for sure. But it is such a nice machine. It really is. These bikes, I'm so happy I got this one. Basically, like, I don't know, does everyone remember? It is, I think, either my most successful or second most successful video ever on the channel. Was the first ride review I did on a 2019 Kawasaki Z900RS. Ever since that video, I have wanted one. Apologies for the background noise. I wanted to talk to the camera for once and not, you know, behind the camera. So ever since then, I've wanted one. And, you know, there it is. And it's always funny because you do get comments from people being like, did you really like the bike that much, or you just bullshitting? Well, I mean, no, not to show you my license plate, but I mean, you know the whole statement, put your money where your mouth is. Well, I did. I literally did that. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of scratches on it, so it has previously been bumped here, but someone touched it up with some paint. I don't know, will I replace that or just put an engine cover on it? And yes, that is hot. Also, Ben replaced these handlebars because he dropped it on the left hand side, just here. Really light scratches. It was a nothing crash. I'm gonna put the bar back on here. I assume that might have been on there in the past and just got bent or damaged or whatever else. And these bars are Rizoma bars. I really am not sure how much I like bar end mirrors because it stops me getting my grip out wide if I want it there, so I don't know will I keep those. But everything else, I mean, the paint on the bike is very good for 13,000 plus miles. After today, it's actually nearly 14,000. I've put, like, by the time I get home, it'll be about 400 miles on. But I mean, everything else is just really clean. The clocks are beautiful. The paint is really good all around for a bike that also lived a lot of its life outside under the cover. It's in such good condition, which just shows the difference between here and in Ireland. And also the OEM Akrapovic exhaust. So yeah, I mean, without further ado, let's get on the road and talk about my plans for this bike and what it feels like to buy a literal dream bike of mine. Yeah. So, why did I buy this bike? Well, I mean, number one, if you've been following the channel a while, you know that I like having lots of different bikes. And I was really missing a fast inline 4, to be honest. And you know, the V-Strom is something that I don't particularly want to take to track right now, for various reasons. So I was kind of always on Facebook Marketplace in the hunt for, you know, in particular a Gixxer 750 or whatever else. But they just were super expensive. Now, the actual first bike I was looking at when I moved over here was a Z900RS. I really wanted like a lime green cafe one. But they were just kind of ludicrously overpriced for the mileage that was on them and the year that was on them and all that stuff. It just kind of like most vehicles over here right now are just priced way over the top, you know, way over the top. But then, you know, what can you do? That's just how life is here right now, and you know, globally things are just too expensive. So I kind of just would be on Facebook Marketplace saving bikes all of the time, just in case people came to their senses and dropped them. And then one day this one popped up and I saved it, and I was kind of like, okay, you know, will I message the seller, whatever else, and thought about it and kind of decided against it. And then it was actually Toaster and the patrons talked me into it. So thank you all, because this is probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. This has been such a good day. It is actually my birthday today. So I have just really enjoyed being out on a bike. Literally, I think I left the hotel in Asheville at 8:45 or so this morning. Bike's really easy to shift clutchlessly. I generally do. You still use the clutch just because, you know, I put wear in the clutch discs. They're easy change. But anyway, yeah. So I left probably around 8:45 this morning. So pretty much I've had the entire day on bike, which has just been great. I also met up with Q, or Day As Hell, on Instagram for a little bit, and I obviously met Toaster on the way back as well. She drove the car back that we drove over to get this, and I met her for a Mexican lunch in Las Coras, I believe it was, in Greensboro, which was very tasty, really good lunch, for a pretty decent price, so no complaints there. So basically, all in all, it's just been an absolutely fantastic day. One of the better birthdays I've had in my life, and that was number 31, so you know, I have a couple to compare to. But yeah, I mean, I bought it because I missed something that was like a fast inline 4. The CB750 is not a slow bike, but it's not like this, you know. It's not like actually legitimately fast. And this is something I'm definitely going to take to the track. I didn't buy it to replace the V-Strom or anything like that. The V-Strom is definitely still my daily. It's just so comfortable, but you know, maybe I'll crack this one out once or twice a week to drive to work, and track days, and you know, weekend jaunts, fast weekend jaunts, whatever else. It's just a very, very fun bike. And you know, Ben has 2 good tires on it. I thought I'd lost one on the way home. My rear tire ran over some glass on a road, and someone had like shattered a window all over the road, and I think it's okay. There's a mark on the tire, but it's not leaking. I checked all that, so hopefully that holds good. If it doesn't, I'll try to get it patched, because the tires are like pretty much brand new. And you should feel the heat in them today. It's just been great. But yeah, so what are my plans with this bike? Plan number 1 anyway is definitely to get in a track day kind of ASAP. You know, I have my leathers here, I have my airbag vest, and I pretty much just want to get one done either at NC Car or VIR. Tall Ben from Gears and Gasoline had originally, well, I messaged him when I moved here and was like, hey, you want to do a track day at VIR? And he was up for it on bike, so I must start messaging him again, see can I get through to him, because it would be great to have someone to do it with. And there's also NC Car, which is a bit closer to me, so I also might do that one first. We'll see. Either way, definite track day in the nearer future, thanks to this bike. Other than that, yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of things obviously I would like to do. So this does come with the OEM Akrapovic end can, and you can get Akrapovic headers that delete the bread box, which I would really like to do, because where I live, you don't have to do emissions testing every year. You just do like a state inspection for safety and whatnot, which is how it should be, in my opinion, for bikes. There's not enough of them to be big emitters in this part of the world, so it's just kind of silly testing for them. Hello. Okay. Dick. I think he might have lifted a finger. Fair enough. But anyway, so obviously those headers are something I would really like to do, not only for the aesthetics, but obviously apparently it does help with heat, and also obviously weight, so you know that has to happen. This bike also does have a center stand, so I'll probably take that off for the track, just because the last bike I used on the track that had a center stand, which was the CBF, the center stand came home with a good 45-degree angle of metal, removed forcibly by the surface of the track, which is obviously not something you really want to be doing. Number one, because you'll damage the track surface, And number two, because it's kind of at risk of grabbing the ground, and you know, that's not going to be a good time. So that's something that I definitely would rather not do again. So we'll try to avoid that. But I mean, how does it ride? Is it everything that I thought it was back when I did the first ride with Freeman's? Yeah, this bike has just been a dream to ride all day. Okay, it's not cramped. It's not cramped. It's not the most comfortable position for a big guy or girl or anything in between. You know, like I know I'm pretty abnormally tall, but I mean, I can still ride this thing all day with a couple of breaks here and there, and I haven't even taken that many breaks. And you know, it's still pretty comfortable. Like I'm not crippled by any means. Oh, that's cool, big old reservoir. I'm not crippled by any means, so it's definitely doable. I know I have looked, and apparently you can get a different seat, which is a bit more supportive, because this seat is not, it's not uncomfortable, but I don't know, is it like too squishy or something that it's not, it's just my ass bones aren't exactly where they should be for like long distance comfort. Again, not that I might not bother changing that, just because of the fact I probably won't do much long distance on it. It also is like astonishingly good on fuel. So I had a feeling it would be better than Stromboli, because Stromboli is a big twin, and the V-Strom twin isn't known to be the most fuel efficient thing in the world. It's pretty good on fuel for a big twin, but it's not like, you know, it's not gonna blow your mind. Whereas this, I mean, average over its lifetime is 45.7 US. Right now it's doing 62, and I can tell you, the roads I've been doing, which is a good mix of some fun roads and obviously some more boring roads to get home, I averaged 49 US MPG per fill up, so I'll put all that up on screen now. But that is amazingly good for a 900 inline 4. It really is, and I have literally zero complaints about that, because I mean, well, how could you? It's a 900 inline 4, you know, detuned slightly for some more mid-range power and whatever else, or mid-range power and torque, but that's still phenomenal. And yeah, just really good. And you know, I got to do one or two pulls on the way home, and also just to get to make some progress once or twice. You know, I did that too, and that certainly it certainly showed just how much power that's in there, that's in the bike to use. It's fast, because, you know, again, with the bike that I borrowed from Freeman's to do that video, I never kind of went too hard on it, because it wasn't my bike, and I don't really like riding bikes that aren't mine too hard. You know, people have even offered me bikes to ride over here that are theirs, and I'm like, I just don't know, you know. I probably will eventually, when I find roads that I can kind of do test rides on, but yeah, I don't know. It's so easy to clutchless shift on this one. I don't know, is it the type of clutch that's on it or whatever else, but it's super nice. I still do also want a quick shifter though. I know Translogic make one for this that I would really like to try, because Translogic quick shifters are the bee's knees. And you know, I've already tried two other quick shifters on two different types of bikes. Neither of them perfect, but both of them quite good. You know, I know my friend Aiden, who I sold the Aprilia to, had a slight issue with his one from Heel Tech recently, just around that switch loosening up again. You know, because the Aprilia would probably, even if you welded on bolts, that Aprilia twin would probably shake things loose. So I'm not blaming Heel Tech per se, just maybe that technology is not the best thing for that big twin. So Translogic, definitely I'll be giving that a go. Obviously I have to go through the whole bike, so I did a quick eyeball inspection, obviously before and when I bought it, and before I rode it home, obviously, to check everything, and everything checked out real good. But at the same time, I do want to, you know, get the tank off, have a look at the spark plugs. The oil was just done for the inspection, so I'll leave that one alone. I'll just check the level. But oil and oil filter were just changed. I'm gonna turn off my Cardo because it's really loud when I get notifications. I didn't realize they weren't silenced. One thing I really want to do is Ivan's performance. I've only read great things about his tune online, and you know, even on the way home today, a couple of corners, because this cuts fuel when you throttle off, it makes it very jerky getting back on throttle, which makes it not difficult, but just not overly pleasant to ride fast into corners. You know, if you're if you're rolling off the throttle and braking a little bit into a corner, and even if you're slightly kind of unstable, and which, you know, I don't have this rear suspension set up for me yet, so it's not going to be the most stable thing in the world. When you get back on there, you do get that kind of kick, which he does map out. So even if I don't change the headers and I don't change anything else, I'll still probably get his map, just to kind of fix or alleviate that kick, because it's just not the nicest thing in the world when you're doing corners. So that's definitely another bit, and obviously that would also be very important for track riding, to be able to kind of push into corners. You don't really want it throwing itself about the place on you. Most certainly not. Obviously, other than that, I'm going to play with the stock suspension settings to see what I can do with them. They're comfortable. The rear is too soft. The front isn't bad. But I do think that the front could also just use a little bit of stiffening for me. HEL make a brake line kit for this bike, so I might also do that. I'm just kind of torn whether to keep ABS or not, because you can get the race pattern brake lines for the bike, and I'm just not sure do I want to do that, because that would be obviously deleting the ABS, which, not that it's, seriously, I freaking hate lights in America, you know that? It's absolutely no. Oh, there we go. I take it all back. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm a very impatient man. I've said this before. It's true. I am. But you know, one of the things I really don't want to do if I do go down the route of getting the acropovic headers is I don't want to ruin the sound that's currently coming from this bike. I really don't want to make it too loud, because when you're accelerating on this, the honk from the induction is just so nice. I don't know, did you get a whiff of it there when I was accelerating? But it sounds so good, and that's not something I want to lose. Most certainly not. Yeah, I mean, other than that, that's kind of it. This is my new bike. Welcome bike to the family. How long I'll keep it, I don't know. I'm definitely going to use it. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. It is a literal dream bike of mine. Ever since they released these, I have loved them. Especially since I rode one. It has not disappointed since I bought it, which is always nice, because, you know, if you buy something and ride it and then you're like, oh, actually, I don't really like this. I mean, most of the way home, so it's 88 degrees Fahrenheit today. I'll put up the conversion on the screen, and earlier when I was coming through Raleigh and past Raleigh, it was like 92 and 90 to 95. It was hot. It was really hot, and I just kind of was still happy as Larry. I mean, okay, number one, obviously it's because I live in a hot country now, I'm getting used to it, but also this bike just didn't try cook me. It has literally been a fantastic companion the whole way home. Just has run flawlessly, is cool as hell. It sounds great, it rides great, it looks bloody-tastic. When you look down, you see that Z, or Z, it's just like, oh yeah, look at that paint. And yeah, no, I want to try find someone who's like a paint specialist to maybe give it a color correction and a, you know, like a ceramic coat or something like that, just to protect the tank, because it is such a nice paint job. And like I said, you know, the bike isn't aesthetically perfect. I showed you those couple of bits of damage at the very start, so that's something that we also have to address, whether it be with some engine case covers, or that I replace those OEM covers entirely, which, you know, I might do. The one on the right might be rescuable if I take it off and you know, send it off for powder coating. That one might be savable, but the one on the left has it doesn't have deep gouges, but I don't think it's a powder coat's going to fix it. I'll put it that way. I think it's the scratches that are there are too deep to be fixed by a powder coat. So we'll see about that one, but that might have to be something that's actually just replaced with a new OEM cover, which, look, isn't the biggest deal in the world. They're not that expensive. I priced it before I bought the bike because it's something I would like to have it aesthetically right, and you know, Ben was good enough to knock off the cost of the actual part, so I will more than likely replace that, probably the first thing I do, just to have it nice, just to have it looking well, because, you know, everything else on the bike, like, yeah, it has obviously age marks, you know, it's 13,000 miles on it. Bikes are gonna get, no, don't leave me, phone, I need you to get home. Bikes are gonna get some age related marks as they're used, which I am absolutely fine with. The thing is, this is like a 2019, so 4 years old, and it was pretty much less than half the price of a new Z900RS when you take into account all the dealer fees and everything else. So this was for me an absolute steal, because I don't really care if something isn't brand new. 13,000 miles is just broken in, especially more than likely the type of riding that's been done over here is very gentle. You know, you're not up and down the gears so much. People tend to just cruise like this a little bit more, because, you know, that's what's available to them, so, you know, I don't blame them. And yeah, that's kind of the plan. Clean it up aesthetically, add a couple of nice performance bits, whether they be headers, just a tune, Canon air filter, whatever it might be, and then we're going to do a full check over the whole bike. There'll be a video on that, because people did ask me, you know, to actually show them. When I buy a new bike, I tend to disassemble it a bit to find out what's there, what's not there. So I actually haven't ever documented that, and people have asked me to document it after the V-Strom and the CB, so I will on this one. And yeah, that's it then. And other than that, I'm just going to try and enjoy it as much as I can, because you never know what's going to happen next week, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, so get out and enjoy bikes. That's all I want to do. So yeah, alright, well, thank you for watching. As always, a very special thank you to all of my patrons and patrons. Also, thank you for the show and the support to buy this bike, because without you guys and Toaster, it very likely would not have happened. I'm a worst case scenario type of person. I think through everything and then be like, okay, but what if everything exploded tomorrow? You know, and I still will be fine. So it was okay to buy this. So yeah, that's it. Thank you again for watching. Adios. Outro crew. Is a Z900RS something you would consider buying, or is it not your type of bike? I have to say, this is very much something that I am in love with. I have been since I rode it, completely in love with it. Before that, I really liked them because of the look of them. Obviously, me being more of a retro bike head, I love the retro look. Yeah, just let me know what your opinion is on them. Would you have one? Would you not have one? And why? Bye, outro crew.